Okay, maybe not. We light this chalice to remind ourselves of where we come from, who we are, and what we will become.
As I light this small flame in this moment of time, let's rejoice everyone who led us to be together here today.
I light this chalice to remember those who are not with us today, and to all the people who helped us along our way.
All right. This cup of light, the lives it saved, the history it's changed. It reminds us of what you youths have done.
Okay. This opening hymn is a personal favorite. It's Where Do We Come From? Number 1003 in your teal hymnal.
So one thing to note about this hymn is that we put the words in the order of service wrong. So please do get out your teal hymnal if you are here in this space, with our apologies to those who are following along on Zoom. This is a simple sort of chant-like hymn, and our youth thought the words fit very nicely with our theme of coming of age. So we'll sing it all through together. And I just want to point out for anyone who doesn't read music that the little dots at the end of each line means you repeat it. So each line is sung twice through. And then we'll try it in a round. And I'll lead part of the crew, and Mark will lead the other part. And we'll sing it through as a round a couple times as well.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Parish in Bedford and to our coming of age service. You're going to hear more about what makes the service special in a moment. So if you haven't been to a coming of age service before, don't worry, we'll explain. We're so glad to be here physically in the sanctuary and virtually on Zoom. We especially welcome families and special guests to our coming of age youth.
We have a couple of announcements. After church today, we have our big all-church picnic that was postponed from last weekend. We hope to see you there between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. for food and activities for all ages, including a giant timeline of First Parish. We will have treats, bagels, and if you ordered lunch, that will be there, and you can also bring lunch. We want to let you know that last night's concert, Brazoke Extravagance, raised over $1,800 for First Parish. For First Parish, and that there were 85 people attending, either virtually or in person. Thank you to the music committee for making this wonderful event happen. And now we will hear more about coming of age service from two of our leaders.
So I'd like to first make note that two of our fabulous leaders of the coming of age group sadly are not feeling up to snuff and are not able to join us today. So Sarah Klakowski is on Zoom, as is Kath von Prague. So you may see Kath's name in the service for this item, but Mark has generously stepped in for this. In religious traditions around the world, young people are welcomed and invited into the adult life of their spiritual communities in many ways. They participate in lessons, reflections, and formal preparations before being welcomed ceremoniously into adulthood. At First Parish, we offer a coming-of-age program to recognize and honor this rite of passage. As a Unitarian Universalist, we value personal growth and the religious freedom to develop into ourselves a credo that helps to guide us through life. We covenant that we are a religious community of individuals committed to independent spiritual paths and a shared religious journey.
This morning we will honor four extraordinary youth who came together last September and have shared the work of learning, growth, and reflection that form our Coming of Age program. In this program, they learned about Unitarian Universalism through meetings twice a month, readings, social action projects, and a team-building overnight retreat, and some lively discussions with a few of our parishioners as well as our ministers. We, their mentors, have had the joy and privilege of watching these four individuals become their own supportive community, not only learning and working together, but also sharing, laughing, singing, and playing together. At the end of April, we all journeyed together to our final overnight retreat in New Hampshire. While there, these youth were guided through a series of activities which included credo writing and worship planning.
Over the past few months, we have asked this coming of age group to consider how our UU principles impact their own personal behaviors. They began to identify things happening in the world around them that reflected our UU values and some that did not. We asked them to move the words off the pages of RE lessons and into the actions of their daily lives. We encouraged them to imagine living a life of meaning as a Unitarian Universalist. This group worked hard, and they have responded to our call. They have reflected on their own evolving beliefs as Unitarian Universalists. They've generated ideas about their faith, hopes for their future, and their responsibilities as members of our community.
Today we celebrate the achievements of these youth as they cross the bridge into adulthood. As a community, we feel enriched and rejuvenated by their spirit. We share joy and hope, knowing these youth will be citizens empowered to make the world a better place.
In this morning's recognition service, you will hear from this incredible group of individuals who are inquisitive, energetic, insightful, talented, and generous. They will share their ideas with you through their artwork and the belief bags, their music choices in this service, selected opening and closing words, their personal chalice lighting words that you just heard, as well as their credo statements. After the service today, you'll have a chance to mingle with them a bit before we go off to the church picnic. Ask them more about their beliefs and ideas. Most importantly, though, we ask you that you welcome them into your hearts and support them on their spiritual journey as peers. On this day, and joined by these young adults, our circle is now larger, our hope is stronger, and our future is brighter. And now James will lead us in our unison affirmation.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
This is Man in the Glass by Peter Dale Wimbrough. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you, clear to the end, and you've passed your most difficult, dangerous test, if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years, get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass.
First and foremost, I don't think that belief is concrete in any way, shape, or form, and that there's a 0% chance that the future me will believe what is effectively the grumblings of a cynical teenager. Finding meaning in one's life has been a musing of man since his inception, and we haven't really gotten any closer since. Whether it's purpose or meaning, being happy is the most important thing to achieve during all of our short stays on this earth, because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing beyond this. Now, being happy is a multifaceted subject. There can be momentary happiness, which is fleeting and easily forgotten. And then there is long-term happiness from some sort of accomplishment. This kind of happiness can take a very long period of time, pushing through and struggling to arrive at. But it's always something that you can be proud of. And what is pride beyond simply something that you can draw happiness from over a long time? For example, about a year ago, I got my black belt in karate, something which I'd worked towards for years with many, many hours of hard work. Whenever I wear it or even see it hanging in my closet, I can say, I did that, and that gives me confidence. What will happen after we die? Along with the meaning of life, this is another thing which has been debated at length for millennia. Many groups of people throughout history have claimed to have the answer, but I think that many of those ideas are so vastly different because the truth is we have no idea. In reality, we are not dead, and at least I think that I haven't spoken to anyone who is dead in recent memory. So, given that I don't know, I'm going to assume that nothing happens after we die, and I can't be proven either right or wrong until I too am laid to rest in the ground. And I think that makes me enjoy life far more than someone who is always worried about heaven or hell or reincarnation.
Is that good? That's a lot better. Okay. Oh, wait. That's good enough. Okay. Hello, members of the First Parish Church. My name is Dylan Denny Brown. Credos are the beliefs that guide a person's actions, and I don't traditionally religiously believe in much. My beliefs have been shifting over my many, many years on this earth. 15 to be exact. And I have not really stuck with a singular belief. None of the major religions made sense to me, and they were all based around the same thing: what happens when you die. And after trying to believe in some of these major religions, it led me to my current religious belief, which is an agnostic, Unitarian Universalist. Wow, that's a mouthful. Okay. We may and probably never will find out what happens when we die, and I'm completely fine with that. Sorry. But even though I don't believe in any major religions, I do believe in values such as honesty, kindness, and empathy. I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. I believe in family, love, and compassion. I believe in stopping major world issues such as global warming, the plastic crisis, discrimination. I also believe in things that I never thought I would need to say I believed in. I'm looking at all you flat earthers out there. I believe in all these things, and they are my driving force throughout the day. But I am young, still, ever-changing, and if someone presents a good argument for something, I may change my mind again. I do not have experiences of many of you, as I am not and will never be an adult. At least not for long. Not for a while. But thank you all for being here today, and thank you for listening to my credo statement. Okay. And I'm doing the offering as well. Okay. And this is the offering. We are so glad that this congregation exists so we can have programs like Coming of Age. They really make a big difference in our lives. Please give generously to this morning's offering so we can keep this church going strong. There are instructions for online giving and text giving in your order of service. And for those in person, ushers will come by to take the offering.
When I'm at my best, I like to describe myself as hardworking, kind, and loving. Ever since I was little, I have always admired those who appear to have no trouble speaking their mind. I have always been the opposite. I feel like I spend a good amount of time before I speak just trying to find the right words. As well as my friends and the other people I am surrounded by, my family gives meaning to my life. My parents, who have always shoved their needs aside to meet mine. My brothers, who I look forward to playfully bickering with when I get home after a long day of school. My sister, who has been by my side since the second she was born. My grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles, who I have learned so much from. I can say without a doubt that I love my family, but that leads me to the question, what is love? I believe that there are many different kinds of love. However, overall, I view love as looking forward to, enjoying, and spending time with someone who I can trust with my whole heart. I view courage as a person facing something that is personally challenging for them. Courage looks different for each person on this earth. It takes a lot of courage to accept the fact that in order to have life, there is death. When one dies, they live on in people's memories. So, I guess you could say that ghosts are just a lasting impact of each person who has left this earth. So hopefully, a long, long time from now, when I am only living in people's memories, I want people to remember my strengths and accomplishments as well as my weaknesses and failures. The idea of death doesn't scare me. I see death as lasting peace. What scares me is how my death affects those around me. I want my family to know, with all their heart, that I have loved and appreciated them every day in my life since I took my first breath. I want my friends, my mentors, and everyone else who impacted the small amount of time I spent on this earth to know how grateful I am for them. And that without them, I would not be close to the person I am today. There is so much I want to accomplish before I depart, but most of all, I want to leave this place a bit better than it was when I came. I see being part of a religious community to be a bit like being part of a large family. To be surrounded by people who will celebrate my success. People who hopefully I will be around for a lot of my life. If I had to choose one poem to represent the way I strive to live my life, it would be Man in the Glass. The moral of this poem is that the most important person to me is myself. Everyone in my life is going to have some opinions or beliefs that differ from mine. And while it may be hard, I know that if I look back on a life where I followed other people's beliefs and not my own, I won't see a successful life. I strive to live my life by being my true self and always listening to what is inside of me.
Life. What is life? To some people, it's a stage. To others, it's a way to find purpose. Dolly Parton once said, "The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain." It may sound cliche, but I think it's true. Everyone has different challenges in life. It's not what they are, it's how they address them. When I'm at my best, all my obstacles have been forgotten, and I'm just enjoying everything. I admire how others think differently than myself. I find it fascinating how different people handle the same problems in different ways. Frankly, I think that obstacles and challenges are very important in life. When one is solved, it's extremely satisfying. I think that's why people challenge themselves, because they feel alive when they are challenged and every part of them is awake and focused on one goal. I also think that I'm here to help others. I want to make a positive impact on the others around me, because I know if I do that, then the same thing will happen to me. Here's an example of a challenge that I have been endorsing for a while. School. Who likes school? Waking up early, getting homework, and sitting in rock-hard desks for hours on end. To be honest, I hate it. But I don't know what I would do without it. It can be a challenge, and I think it's something that almost everyone has experienced. But when you finally finish school, you can look back and feel proud of yourself for accomplishing something truly hard. It also opens up tons of doorways for your future. I'm not there yet, but I'm on the path, and I'm soon going to approach the threshold to adult life, and I'm preparing to be ready. With having an adult life, death will creep up to my life eventually, even though it may take a while. I think from the outside, death looks bad, but the more you look at it, the better it is. There is only life when there is death. Also, death compels us to exceed our existence because we want to live life to its fullest. I choose to accept death instead of running from reality. When I started this course, I thought that church was a place to bore kids who were forced to go by their moms. Sorry, Mom. But now I see the reason. I see the point and why this building and concept has been around for so long. I would like to thank my parents for forcing me to go and putting up with me saying no, because through this church, I've learned so much about myself. Throughout these past years, religion has started moving into my life, and I've been thinking more and more about my beliefs. I do believe that there's a higher power, but I'm not sure what it is. It could be a God, it could be a force, heck, it could even be me. But I think that I still need to figure out the rest, and it will take time, but that's fine with me. This belief will affect me throughout my life, although my beliefs will change, and that's just another part of existence. Furthermore, to follow these beliefs will need courage. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. To me, that's courage. So when we eventually pass away, I want to be remembered as a person who affected others positively. Being religious is about following your own path and helping others. To me, there is no symbol for it. It's just a feeling. It's like a wind, because you can't see it, but you can feel it and you know it's there. Finally, since I know that everyone is getting tired of listening to me, I have one more thing to say. Every choice in your life will affect you, so make a choice morally correct to yourself and follow it. It is up for you to decide and make your own paths and follow them. Ignore the rain and chase the rainbow. Thank you for listening.
So now we have a section where we do some charging, not charging money, but giving you a charge. When we were talking about the charges, when we were planning the service, one of the youth said, does that mean I'm going to have to do something? And I was like, yeah, you have to be a good person and live your values. And he was like, oh, I already do that. It's like, I know, that's the point. And honestly, my charge to the parents of these incredible youth this morning is pretty much the same, to keep doing what you are clearly already doing. Would the parents of these young people rise? Thank you. So there's a response printed in your order of service you might want to have handy. First, I just want to say thank you because you've been very patient and persistent. I know this program has not been the smoothest, and I'm deeply grateful that you have prioritized this program and that you have even maybe at times forced these young people to be here such that they might thank you publicly later. And I want to say that from everything I can tell from interacting with these four, you're doing an incredible job. They are fun and funny and thoughtful and more insightful than I expected, honestly. When we got to the credos, I was very impressed. And so please keep trusting them, keep helping them become exactly who they are becoming, and keep pushing them to do different activities and programs and have different relationships that will strengthen their values and move them into becoming their best selves. You may respond.
Now, as ever, we give you our affections and support. We love you and your eyes and our past, and we are with you now as you become young adults and take your role as leaders in our community. You are our most precious resource and community.
Thank you so much. And now we actually have a virtual charge to our youth. Unfortunately, through a series of various mishaps, our youth coordinator, Sarah, was not able to be here in person, but she has recorded a charge to the youth. And I'll invite you all to come back up, because after this we're going to give you a little token anyway. So come up and stand on the stairs up here, and we'll have our yeah, you can just be on the stairs right in front of, there you go. Perfect, and we'll have our video.
Good morning, First Parish, and a special good morning to our coming of age youth. I am so sorry that I can't be with you in person to celebrate this great achievement with you. It has been such a joy to have journeyed with you this year, to have seen the growth and the steps you've taken as individuals and together as you've wrestled with some of the toughest questions that we ask as human beings. As I bring my time with First Parish in Bedford to a close this year, I am so thankful for my time with you as a coming of age leader and the role, I'm thankful for the role you all have played in my life and in my discernment. And so with that, here is my charge to you. Dear youth, you are crossing the threshold of dependence and moving toward independence. You have been blessed with a loving family, a Unitarian Universalist community and advisors, teachers and friends who love and care for you. This year has been one of discovery, in which you have learned to reach within yourselves for the strength and wisdom that are your unique resources. Here today, will you do your very best to seek opportunities to learn and grow from the experience and wisdom of your parents, other adult advisors and teachers, and the knowledge that you carry within you.
Now, as ever, we open ourselves to a lifelong journey of growing in mind, heart, and spirit. As members of this faith community, we will strive to make this congregation and all the groups we are in places where everyone may speak and be heard, and where all people may grow and challenge and opportunity. Stay there.
This is the time in our service when we formally recognize you for the spiritual learning and the hard work that you have done this year. We consider these meaningful words. There are two lasting things we give our children. One is roots, and the other is wings. We are going to present to you in these envelopes, so you'll have to open them to see them, a chalice to put on your coming of age necklaces. This can remind you of your religious roots here at First Parish as Unitarian Universalists. You have the responsibility to commit yourselves to continue exploring your spiritual paths with the knowledge of your UU heritage. You have the UU principles and purposes to use as your guide. Always remember that your family and this religious community will be here for you. In some ways, you are still fledglings. You'll fly, but so too you may fall. Always remember to get up and try again. Aim to fly with direction and grace. You have each other to practice with. Be gentle, compassionate, and aware of one another.
I was so eager to charge the congregation that I jumped the gun and tried to do a second offering. Folks, it takes a village. The future of this village, the growth and vitality of this church, depends on our willingness to learn from each other throughout our lives. Those of us who have been here forever don't have all the answers to the question of where we go from here. Have any of you been feeling like we don't have any of the answers? Can any of you relate to the themes that characterize these images on the cover of the Order of Service? We don't know the path that will be woven through this portal to the world we dream of. This is our finest hour as a community of faith development. Differences in age and experience are not barriers when we're talking about a spiritual community. We have so much more to learn from these fine young people than we have to teach. Kindred pilgrim souls, even as we acknowledge ourselves as peers to these youth on their path, know this: what our experience and the depth of our faith can offer is grounding. In fluid times, we can be the waves upholding them. You here in this sanctuary, all you all out there on Zoom, those in the future who watch this recording, will you pledge never to close your hearts to these youth as they continue along their path? And will you promise to walk with them in the ways of love and justice for all your days? Folks, let's sing Blue Boat Home. It's number 1064 in your teal hymnal, also printed here in the Order of Service.
Oh,
This is a poem, Traffic Light by Shel Silverstein. When the light turns green, you go. When the light turns red, you stop. But what do you do when the light turns blue with orange and lavender spots?
Traveling the ether back to you.